Thinking of buying the Netgear Nighthawk R7000 router? Good. You're about to save a lot of money and a massive headache. I'm here to give you the brutally honest review that the shiny Amazon page won't. I'll confirm every problem you're worried about with this supposedly legendary router. But here's what surprised me. My final recommendation isn't what you think it is. For the best price on this paradox of a product, click the link in the description. I'll explain why in a second. Let's get the obvious out of the way. The Nighthawk R7000 is a classic. It's like that action movie star from the 90s. Everyone knows the name. It had some killer specs for its time, and you can still find it everywhere. On paper, it's still tempting. AC 1900 speeds, a 1 GHz dual-core processor, coverage for up to 1,800 square feet. It promises to handle 30 devices, prioritize your gaming, and with a 4.3-star rating on Amazon for $149.99, it seems like a safe bet. Therefore, you might be clicking add to cart right now, but you'd be making a classic tech mistake, buying yesterday's hero for today's battles. This is where we dive into the real problems. First major problem, its age. This router debuted when Stranger Things was just a weird feeling. Technology in routers has evolved at light speed since then. The R7000 lacks modern standards like WPA3 security, which is a big red flag in 2024. It's still on WPA2. That's like locking your front door with a latch when everyone else has deadbolts. It also doesn't support newer mesh networking natively. So if you have dead zones, you're stuck with clunky extenders, not a seamless whole home system. Therefore, that 1800 SQ-FT coverage promise often comes with frustrating drop-offs and speed caves in the corners of your house. It's strong, but it's not smart or modern. Now, let's talk setup and software, or as I like to call it, the router's midlife crisis. Netgear's Nighthawk app and web interface feel dated. They work, but they're not intuitive. Configuring advanced features, like that dynamic co-S it boasts about for lag-free gaming, can be a journey through menus that look like they were designed by a perplexed engineer. And the parental controls. They want $4.99 a month after a free trial. That's a subscription for your own router's basic functionality. It's like buying a car and then paying monthly to use the turn signals. Joke number 1. Setting up the guest network on this thing made me feel like I needed a guest degree in computer science. But the most consistent complaint, the dark cloud in all those 5-star reviews, is firmware and stability. This is the deal breaker for many. The R7000 has a history of needing frequent reboots. You'll be streaming the climax of your show, and poof, the Wi-Fi sighs and takes a nap. Some users report that firmware updates, which are supposed to fix things, sometimes make it worse. It's a gamble. You might get a rock-solid unit, or you might get one that's more temperamental than a cat in a bath. Therefore, that reliable performance for 30 devices. It can quickly turn into a game of which device gets dropped today. So with all these problems, aging tech, clunky software, potential instability, why does it still have a 4.3-star rating? Because when it works well. For its era, it was a beast. If you get a good unit and your needs are simple, basic streaming, web browsing, a handful of devices in a smaller space, it can deliver solid speed. The 4 gigabit Ethernet ports are fantastic for wired connections. The USB ports for network storage are a nice bonus. It's a powerful workhorse router that's past its prime, like a retired racehorse that's still good for a steady trot. Joke 2, this router has seen more internet history than your browser's incognito mode. Let's address the elephant in the room. Should you buy it? Therefore, here's my contrarian snapback. In 2024, I cannot recommend buying the Netgear Nighthawk R7000 as your new primary router at its full $150 price tag. That's the key. At that price, you're entering the territory of much newer routers with better software, modern security like WPA3, and even entry-level mesh systems. Paying a premium for outdated technology is never a good deal. However, and this is a big however, if you can find it significantly discounted, refurbished, or as a hand-me-down, it becomes a very different proposition. For someone on a tight budget, or as a reliable backup, or for a small apartment with modest needs, a cheap or free R7000 is a fantastic value. It will still outperform most cheapo routers your ISP gives you. Think of it as buying a used, reliable sedan instead of a brand new sports car. It gets you where you need to go. You just have to manage your expectations. You won't have the latest safety features or the smoothest ride, but it's dependable transportation. Joke 3. Using this router is like having a flip phone. It makes calls, but don't expect to run TikTok on it smoothly. Therefore, my resolution is this. The Nighthawk R7000 is a legend with legitimate problems you must know about. Its age is showing in its security and lack of modern features. The software can be frustrating, and stability can be a coin toss, but calling it outright bad is wrong. It's a testament to how good it once was that people are still using and recommending it years later. The goal of this review wasn't to just trash it, but to save you from disappointment if you expected a modern, set-and-forget miracle box. If you go in knowing its limits, you might be very happy. So, finish on a positive note. Absolutely. If you've read this far, you're now an informed consumer. You won't be blindsided by 2014 software in a 2024 box. You know to check for a good price. And if you decide that, for your specific situation, the pros outweigh the cons, then you can buy with confidence. For the savvy shopper who finds it on a deep sale, the Netgear Nighthawk R7000 can still be a solid win. It's not a universal recommendation, but it can be the right tool for the right job. Joke 4. Reviewing this router felt like giving a performance review to a beloved, slightly grumpy old employee. You appreciate their years of service, but you really wish they'd stop yelling at the new cloud-based printers. Therefore, if you've weighed all this and the R7000 fits your specific budget and need for speed profile, I've done my job. You can find the best current price on Amazon, whether it's for the R7000 or a newer model that might suit you better, by clicking the link in the description below. That's where you'll find the real-time deal. Thanks for watching. You're now smarter than 90% of router buyers. Go get connected.